Okay, welcome to episode 43 of the YYC Real Estate Show. We got myself, Sebastian Shiraz, and our guest today, Ryan Day with Calvert Mortgages.
Is it Calvert Mortgage or Calvert?
Calvert Home Mortgage Investment Corporation. It's a long term, but it's all good.
There we go.
What's your email abbreviation?
Just Ryan at chmic.ca.
So that's
chmic.ca.
So that's what it is, because I'm like, is that a play on CMHC?
It actually is. So that was a really funny story. So that was one of the owners' kind of initiatives for choosing that, to have it very similar to CMHC.
Yeah.
And then legend has it is Calvert was one of his favorite whiskeys, and that's actually kind of a backstory of why it's called Calvert.
Yeah.
One of his favorite whiskeys. Kind of named it after the whiskey. It was a story I was told.
When I meet him, I know what to gift him now.
There you go.
Yeah. But again, this is Ryan Day. We'll be excited to learn a lot more about him and his career here in town, his experience here in YYC and everything. But weekly update for everyone here. It's the 18th today, so almost 3 weeks in. Let's see what's been happening. I know there was 376 sales in the last 7 days in town. If anyone's interested to know more about Calvert and Ryan specifically, their website is chmic.ca. You can see here for those watching on YouTube and can see the video. Here's Ryan and a little bit about himself. Nice photo.
Professional shot there.
Yeah. So weekly update. Again, like I mentioned, 376 sales. Again, end of December and January is the slowest time statistically. We were normally seeing 700 to 900 sales and transactions in a weekly period. So now 376 is lower, but on trend for the stats. Again, low inventory, super low inventory as well. I think the inventory is 1757 is the active listings in Calgary right now. So just double check that for everyone. I'm just here checking our Pillar 9, which is the back end for real estate agents. So yeah, 1758. So as I was speaking here, a new listing went up. I looked at this 15 minutes ago and it was 1757. So this one had just come up literally seconds ago. Oh, fancy one too.
Oh, 3.3.
Well, that looks nice.
When was it built?
It's a new build, it looks like. Well, look where it sits.
Oh my god.
Nice.
Unreal.
Oh, that's a good property.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
Yeah, I like the styling. Did you guys see the price? List price?
3.3,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, 3.3.
Oh, 2020 build.
Not bad. So, normally we also, with the weekly update, go over what's happening, what the trends are in YYC for real estate. We like to also highlight just the top two and the lowest two sales as well for the last 7 days. So, in order to do that, I'll quickly show everyone here the last 7 days. I believe it's probably Aspen.
Wait, go back real quick. Yeah, it said 1,000 sales. And I was like, it's supposed to be all over. Yeah. Inventory 1,700 to 1,000 sales. That'd be concerning, actually.
Yeah.
There, 376 sales. So yeah, Aspen, number one sale for the last week, 3,400 square foot place. And this one is in South Calgary, Marda Loop area. Another one that took only 13 days to sell. 2012 build. That area is just hot. Marda Loop, South Calgary, Garrison Woods, and Altador. Those are the three communities that comprise Marda Loop. For those out there, and of course, all the Ontario, BC migrants coming here that are unaware. Like people will just say, "Well, I want to live in Marda Loop." Well, which Altador, Garrison Woods, South Calgary? They don't know. They think Marda Loop is just its own specific area that you can punch in, but it's not actually in the subdivision, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So. It's crazy. 5 years ago, luxury listings like that would not sell so quickly. They'd have like a lot more time on market, right?
Yeah, exactly. So lowest sales last week. People fought for this one. It's probably strategically listed that we've talked about many times on the show. Sometimes you set it up for a competing offer situation. It sounds like that's what happened here. Listed at 119 and sold for 155.
Wild.
And second highest, 179, sold for 160.
Second lowest, yeah.
Yeah. That's not bad for Forest Lawn. It looks like a nice build.
Mm-hmm.
So come on down. Still a good time to be invested. I was in Okotoks earlier before I came here today, and there was 2 listed for $194. So that's a good price for low condo fee, 2-unit property. So it's classified as a condo, but it's kind of more structured like a townhouse. You walk in and it's almost like a bi-level. You walk in, you just take your shoes off there, and then you can go upstairs, kitchen, living room, bedroom, bathroom, and then downstairs is another washroom, bedroom, and no living area. But great price point, under $200,000.
Yeah. Are you noticing a lot of people move like within your network down to Okotoks, or investors looking into Okotoks?
I've done Airdrie, Cochrane. I've done High River, Okotoks. I've done as far out as Strathmore recently. So I am seeing Calgarians cash in on the high number they can get for their value for their property here, and then stretch their dollar in these other towns, right? Because I was talking about Strathmore, they got a really nice fully reno detached property for $435.
Yeah,
right? Detached, double attached garage, fully finished, basement finished.
Jeez.
And
no, I mean, but if you go to places like Cochrane, I mean, it is still expensive. Not expensive. I mean, like the same prices as Calgary, and with rents as well. The rents are not any cheaper in Cochrane than they are in Calgary. And things are. I know one of my clients just rented one of our previous clients just rented their basement suite for $2,000 a month, right?
Jeez.
Yeah, so rents there are flying too. I believe the vacancy rate in Cochrane is like 0.01%.
That's
per home.
wild.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
almost like Calgary's, and it's set to increase.
Yeah.
So, but now let's quick snapshot of what's happened in the last week. We'd like to touch on what's happening with interest rates as well. But instead of us doing our research and showing you and telling you, the viewers out there, where to go to find these rates, better yet, we have Mr. Day here to talk about that. So please introduce yourself one more time.
Yeah, for sure. Ryan Day from Calvert Home Mortgage. I focus on the business development side. So working with awesome realtors like you guys, wholesalers, real estate investors, mortgage brokers, in order to build relationships with them and essentially help. The end goal of it is to just build more Canadian housing stock. So we primarily support people who buy, renovate, and sell. Buy, renovate, and refinance. Typically, a lot of them do duplex conversions, or they're adding on an additional suite, or they're just buying something that needs significant love. They're spending $100,000, $150,000 in renovations, getting up to its kind of highest and best use, and then renting it out or selling and helping Canadians in that sense. Typically purchase dilapidated properties that are uninhabitable and exactly some distressed properties, and bring them up to market value and helping them exit. So that's typically what we focus on, primarily in Alberta and Ontario. Like the company's been lending for over 45 years in Alberta, primarily Calgary. So Calgary makes up the bulk of our business, just because the founder, Everett Keller, he started here, so most familiar with the Calgary market, Edmonton as well too, and then expanded out to Ontario about three and a half-ish years ago. So still relatively new-ish to that market. But Alberta seems to be the place to be now. Like when I was first started at Calvert in Ontario, the market was just skyrocketing. Then it went down probably, I guess, like a year and a half-ish now. It's depending on the property type, location, and community, and what city you're in. Prices are kind of staying flat, tending to go up. Really depends on the community. But now Alberta's the place to be, specifically Calgary. It's wild. The prices are still increasing.
Right. We just, fought the nation trend, and we've been having success in the last 2 years, whereas the rest of the nation's seen their prices suffer a little bit. And which is why everyone's coming here, not only the relaxed rules and no land transfer tax, no additional hoops to jump through with residential real estate here. So, there's many reasons to come here. Yeah, a lot of benefits. And you're still seeing a lot of migration, right? So.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like a lot of flippers will do like the whole cash for keys strategy that we lend to, and it's their landlord tenant laws compared to Alberta. Like it scares me so much. And even if they think they're going to get a vacant on possession, sometimes it comes with the tenant. They don't want to move for whatever reason. They say they're going to leave. They end up not leaving. And the whole process and how much it costs and the procedure of evicting a tenant compared to Alberta, like I don't know how people do it, to be honest. Like it just gives me anxiety thinking about having to go through that process.
Yeah. Isn't there even rules where you can't even have and own a vacant property? I know that's a thing in Vancouver now.
There's like a tax.
There's a certain tax for it. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll charge you if you keep a vacant place, right? So whereas here you can own and have an empty house if you want. It's your house, right?
Yeah.
The government's not going to bother you at all as long as you just make the grass cut so the city can't complain, right? But yeah. So what have you always been here in Calgary, YYC? Like were you born here?
So I've been here for I guess the last six-ish and a half years. Originally from Ontario, Newmarket area, but came out here for the mountains and cost of living. So there's me, my buddy initially moved out here. We all grew up together, so I moved out kind of a year after him, and then 4 of my other buddies came out here. And typically every other weekend, every third weekend, try and get out to the mountains. Just the cost of living and the quality of life that you have just with nature and so many things to do in terms of outdoor activities is definitely, I find, what's so appealing, and obviously why so many people are moving here along with the cost of living. 5% tax versus in Ontario it was 13% on everything.
HST, right?
Dude, yeah, it's wild. It's insane. Everything's obviously significantly more expensive on average depending on what city you live in Ontario.
Yeah, here 570,000 is the benchmark price.
Yeah.
So I think there it's what, 900,000?
It's wild. So I seriously don't know how people, get ahead or get the down payment for the house and kind of make ends meet, especially the average person, right? Like you're fighting tooth and nail just to make ends meet.
Well, you answered one of the questions we always ask each guest. We always ask, your time here, your life here, experience in YYC, what's one thing you love and what's one thing if you could change, what would it be? What would you change? So you answered already what you love about being here, and that's a very common answer we get. Proximity to the mountains, having access to, I don't know what I want to do. Well, drive 45 minutes, you'll take a nature walk in a real nice area. So having that as our backdrop, the Rocky Mountains, that's a big plus. But if there's one thing you could change, what would it be?
One thing I could change about Calgary. Honestly, compared to the other provinces, like I feel like we are very pro-business. So really congratulating just Alberta for being, pro-business. One thing I would change, I guess over the past few years, like I live in Bridgeland, so kind of walk through East Village from time to time. Obviously, nothing can be perfect, but I have found like the homelessness is definitely starting to get a little bit out of hand, which, obviously cost of living significantly increased, and no city's going to be perfect, but would love to find a solution or help out in any way possible in order to, I don't want to say clean up the downtown, but like, I don't know, something that I definitely think could need a little bit more attention and some love.
It was highlighted quite a bit for those last 5 days of that deep freeze, right?
Exactly.
I mean, I still was seeing people outside.
I don't know how people do it, especially the past, 3-4 days ago, -35, -40,
Well, we have Brennan over here that's doing 75 hard, that workout regimen, and part of it is a daily outdoor workout. And during those 5 days, he was doing a 45-minute outdoor.
Congrats to him. Give a pat on the back for that. That's dedication right there.
Right? So,
jeez.
No, definitely be nice. Mostly with the city growing, right? People are going to be migrating here, and the homelessness is only going to grow as an issue. Hopefully they're going to mitigate that over time, or what they can do. Yeah, I mean that one shelter in downtown, I've really never looked into it too much. But I mean, how many homeless people can they
accommodate? Exactly.
And is that meeting the demand that we have? Right. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure that they have to leave during the day or something like that. Like they can't be in the shelter the whole day. Is that how that works?
I'm not too sure specifically on the rules and laws of what they are allowed and not allowed to do. I used to live in East Village area, and it's I know it's tends to be a nice neighborhood and stuff like that, but try and find a solution in order to make the best situation for everyone.
No, definitely.
Just to go back, I was correct myself on I guessed 900,000 for a median price in Ontario. It's 833. 833,000 is their median price residential home across the whole province. Again, Toronto's just gonna be way more than that, right? But I mean, compared to us at 570, you can see why people are coming here.
It's wild. I was looking at some of the numbers before I came here, just the east side specifically of Calgary. Like it looks like it's increased 23% year over year.
You were getting a detached in Forest Lawn for $290, and now it's 400,000.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Not even detached. You might have a coming soon listing that's an attached home in Forest Lawn for just under 400, right?
Yeah.
So there goes the numbers for you.
Wow. Are you seeing more people just, I guess, attracted to that price point with how, I guess, not unaffordable everything else is, but with prices increasing, like that's the main, I guess, product type that people are looking to purchase because I guess it's still close to the city and
Yeah. Well,
Get
I mean,
something for
the city's
cash.
so big. It's the size of New York, actually, right? Calgary.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Square
That's a
footage.
relative-
Like,
yeah,
like
it's
square
no
footage,
size
like
of New York.
land
Yeah.
size, yeah.
Didn't
So,
know that.
I mean, obviously, we don't have the population, but we got the
Yeah.
land mass.
Yeah.
So what's been skyrocketing and seen a big uptick has been the condo townhouse market because it's what's becoming most affordable.
Yeah.
It took longer days on market on average compared to attached or detached homes, but we saw that trend go up in the last year. So that's something that those two sectors really had a lot of increase. We both did quite a bit in condo townhouses where normally it's just residential detached acreages.
Yeah.
But people coming from BC, Ontario, they see a property they can get for $350. New townhouse, right? So
Yeah.
jumping all over those things.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to I have this one client who was like, yeah, I'm looking at buying a couple investment apartments, right? Around 300,000, right? And he's not
Apartments.
Apartments, yeah. And he's not from town, right? So I guess for him, that's a very good price, to
Yeah.
go into and buy some investment apartments, right? Compared to Toronto. I mean, I did an open house in Montgomery once, and I had this very young couple walk in. Like, yeah, we sold our attached property in Vancouver for about 1.2, and that wasn't a very good property. But now they're looking at these beautiful new infills attached for like 800,000, 900,000 in Montgomery. They're like, oh, this is fantastic. Wow, this is great, and they still have money left over at the end of the day. So
yeah, that's why they're coming. Their dollar goes a long way over here, right? So,
yeah.
little personal stuff I want to ask Ryan about. I read about you a little bit, some hobbies and stuff. So I was really interested to ask you about your time in Thailand, and you did a 5-day no speaking.
Yeah, I don't know if I would highly recommend it. It was, would recommend it.
Well, being in sales and like us,
Yeah.
like it's tough to stay quiet for me for 5 minutes, let alone 5 days. So
Yeah, so me and a buddy were backpacking Thailand, and this came to the end of our trip, and this was something that was done by donation.
Yeah.
So this was right when I was finished school, so decided to do that for 5 days. You would wake up at 5 in the morning. You would have bok choy with rice, and the super weird thing is there was probably like 15 or 20 people, and just eating a meal with strangers that you don't know is one of the most uncomfortable, unnatural, especially
Looking at each other, just eating,
exactly.
no talking?
No talking, and everyone's just trying not to make eye contact, and you're so hungry, and it's just dead quiet. So yeah, you get that breakfast at 5 a.m. You meditate from 5 till 11 in the morning, and then you would get your lunch, and it was the exact same thing pretty much every time: scoop of rice and some vegetables. So it was all vegan.
So you're meditating like 5 a.m. to 11 a.m.?
Yeah. Yeah, but you do it on and off. Like, I don't know, you do it for like 10-minute increments, take a 30-minute break, 15-minute, like whatever you kind of.
I was here picturing like you're sitting there.
Just one full
6 hours.
Yeah, that'd be intense.
You'd be floating, levitating after that.
The mental clarity I would have would just be on a different level.
Yeah.
So yeah, you'd finish breakfast at 11 a.m. and then you would meditate from right when you're done lunch at 11 to 9 o'clock at night. So 11 a.m. was the last meal that you would get. You'd fast from till you wake up the next morning.
Yeah.
It was definitely something unique, something different, but really good. Like you weren't allowed any electronics or just talking to anyone. So I just pretty much wrote down, I think it was like 10 or 15 pages of just, asking myself questions, understanding what I want to do with my life.
Because you're only talking to yourself inside your head. The whole time, right?
Exactly. So would recommend it. However, it was just such a drastic change from like my typical diet and life. Definitely took some getting used to it. Like I think I lost 10 pounds in those few days because you were just not eating any food. Like the calories were probably like 500 calories a day. Whoa. And you have no energy to do anything. So you're just literally sitting there or lying down doing a meditation. Definitely really unique. It was at the Golden Temple in Chiang Mai. Very unique experience.
Do you remember let me just look for it here.
So what was like the most powerful like realization that you came to when taking your notes or anything that you feel like?
So I definitely wanted to build the habit of meditation, and I think the key takeaway that I learned from that is everything takes a lot longer to achieve than you kind of put the expectations on yourself.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, by the end of this, man, I'm going to easily 100% be able to meditate, get mental clarity. So I've been meditating. I try and do it every day, like not perfect, probably do it, if I'm being transparent, like 2 to 3 times a week. But I've been doing that since 2015. And now I feel like I'm finally, after multiple years of trying to do it consistently, I'll get like 30 seconds where you actually just focus on your breath. You get no other thoughts occur, but it's the time that you think it takes to achieve something can typically takes a lot longer than what you kind of put the expectation on yourself. And
I mean,
that's something that's
a super valuable lesson.
Yeah. Was it here? One of these?
It was.
5 day no speaking.
That's what I put as well. These came up.
I think it was the golden Buddha. Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
It actually came up as like,
is that
you
actually
specifically can go for that retreat.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Like this is what came up: 5-day meditation stay.
Yeah. So there's a few different temples you can do it, and you could stay for as long as you want. So like after chatted with a guy there when we were both leaving, and he was there for a month.
Crazy.
Like, oh my god, man, you're here for 30 days.
I can't go back
every
to the
day.
concrete jungle.
Yeah, it's just the exact same thing.
Was he just ribs? Like, was he saying?
Yeah, looked a little concerning. No,
he was like Tom Hanks, Castaway. The end. Great movie.
Yeah, classic. Haven't seen that one in ages. But yeah, would definitely recommend it. Still try and stay consistent with it, just to have mental clarity. But I find hot yoga.
I was about to ask you, like, I was also on there about yourself, hobbies and stuff, what you're interested in hot yoga. What's your favorite studio in town?
So there's one called Yoga Nova. It works out really well with my schedule, really close to the office. It was one of the most affordable as well, too. Like, I find I know you guys are realtors, like, you're connected to your phone 24/7. You always need to be on your phone, especially working in the industry. People are always looking for mortgages on weekends, evenings, typically when they put in offers in that, so it's tough to actually disconnect. Right. And hot yoga, I find you get the mental clarity because it's just so hot in the room. So you get the physical, the mental, and the spiritual benefits as well too, because you typically lie down for 5-10 minutes after. So I find that out of anything has almost had one of the highest impacts of mental clarity. Working on just staying in shape. Yeah. Because obviously you don't bring your phone in. Try to go to the gym from time to time as well too. And I find even with that, you're still on your phone. You get distractions.
Well, I leave it in the locker, and I tell any of my friends that if they ever go to the gym with me, like Brendan, for example, sometimes I forced him to, and like anyone that my friends, I'm like, this is your time. I was like, just leave your phone. Yeah. You have text message, email, voicemail for a reason. Yeah. You're working out for 1 hour. You can take 1 hour off, right?
Yeah. Do you listen to music when you do that, or like how do you?
No, I just
cold turkey. You're just all in your thoughts.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah. No music.
That's a dangerous place.
It's a dangerous place. No, that's awesome.
I'll have to try that.
Yeah. No, thank you for sharing and everything about that. Nova. Look into that for sure, because hot yoga, I mean, you can go 5 a.m. as early as 5 a.m., right? Yeah. So, and us, like, you touch on what you mentioned about us working weekends and stuff. It's like we have to work around client schedules, and predominantly our clients are going to have the Monday to Friday 9 to 5. So when can they go look at a house? When can they discuss with you? It's evenings, weekends, right?
Exactly.
So we have to be available. You're right, but we need to draw the line as well. We have to respect ourselves and our time. I mean, kids, family, wife, your own, schedules, the gym, hot yoga, getting out for a hike, whatever you want to do. It's like you have to have a balance, find a happy medium. So I think when you're honest and transparent, a lot of clients respect that as well. Yeah. I actually know if I'm actively working with someone, I do let them know. For example, today, like when I was in Okotoks, we submitted an offer. So I said I'm going to be unavailable from 2:30 to 3:30, just to give the heads up in case someone's trying to get a hold of me. So
yeah.
on that note as well too, of something that I found has been super helpful. I think I saw it from Alex Hormozy. I'm sure everyone's heard of it. Like turning your phone on that grayscale mode.
Yeah.
And then there's a setting as well too where you can set where you don't get notifications within a specific geographic region. So I try and do that. I had it. I took it off because I guess I'm human. couldn't stick to it, but I had it set where when it knew it was at my house, I wouldn't get any notifications. And that was super helpful just for mental clarity, I found as well too, of just not having the habit of, for a second of uncomfortableness or just distraction, you feel like you should be doing something, you just grab your phone.
We're so ingrained that it's like we don't even realize how addicted we are to our phones, and it's like try to do this when you go home. If you're moving room to room and you have to take your phone with you, or you're like, shoot, where's my phone? There might be a problem, right?
Yeah. And I'll be honest, I'm guilty of that from time to time.
Right? After hearing that, I tried to make a conscious effort where it's like, I can hear it anywhere I am in my home. I can leave it on the counter. I don't have to take it with me if I'm going to this room or downstairs or upstairs.
You don't need to have a 30, 45-minute bathroom session.
What do you mean?
You go on the toilet, you're just like on your phone, just killing time.
Writing out emails,
This guy gets all his deals. Now we know where he gets all his deals done.
Look, I focus, man.
Dude, safe space, got no distractions.
Don't need to leave for no reason.
I'm not going to ask him to use his phone.
No, for me, what I found for my productivity this year that I've really been strict with is I don't take any meetings or book anything outside the house till after 1-2 p.m. Any meeting, any showing, any nothing, I always book it after that, and it works with the clients, and it's been working for me. That time of just being productive,
the
sitting
entire
down,
morning
has given me so much mental freedom, right?
You can factor in the gym at that time.
Get
all your calls and emails. Basically tee up your afternoon and evening to be busy, right? So you wanna call and make appointments and make sure you're busy later, right? But you're right, you should block off mornings. It's part of what I was training the team as I was managing the team for that 18 months is getting into the daily habits of prospecting, right? Every day you must be prospecting because you might have business today, you might have business tomorrow, but you have something next 2 weeks, next month, the month after that. Because in this industry, as we know, we're doing work today for a paycheck 2 to 3 months from today, right? So we don't get paid until possession and everything goes through. So I find a lot of new agents, because I was helping them for so long, guiding them through their new careers, is they have to really get a grasp that this is not only just a self-employed business or job. You have to think of it as you're investing into a business. It's tough to separate yourself, but once you get that around your head that, it's as if I'm buying a new business. So you don't just, I have the funds to take the course and now I'm fully licensed. You also need to have funds available and a capital there to kind of fund you towards your first 3 to 4 months, because these new agents, unless they have someone in their specific sphere of influence that's going to give them a deal, a listing right away. They're going to start prospecting and try to get business and might not see their first paycheck
with the startup
3 to 4 months.
It takes about $7,000 to become a realtor. With all the courses and everything. So there's that upfront cost, and then also just the monthly fees and everything. It adds up for a lot of new realtors too. So
and no income coming in. So your daily life, your vehicle.
This is what a lot of people are not used to.
So I always tell them you should have about 20,000 if you're looking to get into becoming a real estate agent. Have 20,000 allocated, and so you're not worried, and concentrate on being positive. Because again, it's I helped a few agents who were getting really nervous, and it's been 2 months they didn't do a deal yet, and it's my rent, man.
You have any tips for prospecting?
So there's different avenues, and find your lane. So some people are really good at door knocking. Some people are really good at cold calling. Some are great at capturing new buyers at open houses. So there's those avenues. I would say for real estate agents, that, and then the age-old sending out market reports and the flyer and stuff, which is kind of going away. It's going towards the trends of social media and sending market reports on email or creating content like this and being there in the forefront and in the face of people on social media. So find what avenues work for you as an agent. And so those, in my opinion, are the three when you're prospecting. So get into the habit, 9 to 10, I'm going to make all my cold calls. Then I'm going to follow up with emails. then I know I might have showings from 1 to 3. So in that area, I'm going to do some research. I'm going to go door knock before my showings begin because I'm in the area anyways, right? So door knock, cold call, and follow up and email and always touch base with your clients. I find a lot of these new agents, they get a deal done and they're so excited. So I'm like, well, are you following up? Are you asking for a referral?
Yeah.
Are you keeping in touch
That's
with
really
that?
good. Yeah.
That buyer, go and follow up and check with them. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to find out like things they didn't know as being new homeowners and stuff like that. Oh, well, this happened or that happened. And it would be nice for them to have you there to guide them because you should have all the contacts for any sort of trades, any little touch-ups, plumbers, electricians, house cleaners, anything they might need in regards to home ownership.
Yeah.
That's why we're here.
We're
not just there to do one deal, right?
My advice would be super similar to that as well. Just like number one, consistently do it. Like if you're starting out, pick one thing. One way of prospecting, whether it's cold calls or door knocking or something, stick to it.
Open houses,
houses, stick to that, right? And do it very consistently, right? Because you'll gain a ton of experience and also follow up. Because I know that like when I started out, I would hesitate to follow up on relationships that I was building or people I already engaged with, and they asked me questions and this and that, and I promised them a follow-up, and I would sometimes not want to follow up because I didn't know what I was doing, right? Just starting out. But the thing is, when I always followed up consistently, I would generate a lot more things, but I also learned a lot while I was doing it, right? So I know that was one of like the very bad habits I had to break out of when I was just starting, is not following up with people I already engaged with, right? And I've even in my leads list, I've called some of the people, some people are going to be like, oh, you're such an asshole for doing that, but I've called some of the people like 10, 20 times.
You got to now, I feel like, just to stay top of mind.
Until
they tell me they don't want.
Being in sales, you have to have thick skin, right?
Yeah.
You have to be able to handle rejection, right? I mean, I saw a lot of new agents really shy away from the door knocking because it's easy to be on the phone and get rejected on the phone and hang up and on to the next, take a little walk, get some water, a coffee, come back and make more calls. But it's very, very different psychologically for these new agents when they have to door knock and someone is rude or they slam their door in their face and read the sign, no trespassing or no solicitors. Right?
And if you can partner up with someone when you're starting, that helps out so much. It makes it, instead of being like emotionally draining, it makes it fun to do, right? You can laugh about like people who get mad at you, but when you're doing it by yourself, it takes a toll on you. Going door to door and be like, yeah, no thank you. Yeah, no thank you. I handed a flyer to one guy. He's like, is this photoshopped? Like the picture of me. He was like, no. I was like,
what a comment.
He was like, just close the door. I was like, okay.
All right, thanks.
That was a tough one. But no, when you're doing it with people, if you can always partner up with someone off the start, it's really going to make it a lot easier for you to make those calls and keep yourself accountable, right?
Yeah, when I used to do it, we choose streets and we do homework and research on those streets, and we're not just door knocking and saying, would you like to sell your home?
Yeah.
Do you want to buy a home? Do you know anyone? Normally we'd like to do it where we have an open house in the area coming up on Saturday and Sunday. So we'll go on a Wednesday, create material, invite the neighbors to the open house. Here's your invitation.
Smart.
Please come by. And then also, if you don't want to, maybe there's a relative, someone interested in the area, invite them to the open house. Plus, I don't know if you're aware, these are the recent sales in the last 60 days. Are you aware of them? What happened in the neighborhood? Have you ever wondered what your home's worth? I give out free evaluations. And so having something of value.
For sure.
Not there to just say, hey, hi, here's my business card. Please use me as your real estate agent. Arrive with value. Arrive with some information.
Yeah.
And cold calling, door knocking, it's all a numbers thing. I mean, out of 100, maybe you'll get one. So just remember that. And there was this one cool thing. I can't remember who was talking about it. One of these big coaches online where he's like, make it a visual thing where it's like each call is worth $20 or $50.
Yeah, if you know transactions.
Because if you get one out of 100, that's like, let's say 10,000. It's like each of those calls where you were hung up on or spoken to rudely or door knock, it's like, it's all money. It's like, well, you swore at me? That's fine. That's $50.
That was Grant Cardone. I think I saw that.
Okay, that's
How do you go about prospecting for?
So for us, it's really unique. An overview of my plan and strategy. So there's a really, really handy tool called hunter.io.
Okay.
70% of our business right now comes through mortgage brokers. So this hunter.io scrapes the internet for contact details, and mortgage brokers, realtors typically post their information all over the internet, right? So it's a scraping tool that we implement, and there's on a website, FISRA's website, it shows you all of the legally licensed mortgage brokerages.
So there's here?
In Ontario. Yeah. So,
Awesome.
So you can go to each mortgage brokerage in Ontario, click on their website, and it scrapes all of the people that work at that company that post their information. You're able to download it. Then you create an outreach, automated outreach, so you can send like 5-6 emails. Luckily, Calvert has a really unique product in terms of like lending to flippers and short-term lending. So once brokers hear about our products, they're actually really interested. Doesn't come across as spammy or as like, oh my God, why are you emailing me? Like, get so many of those already on a daily basis with spam calls and spam emails. So it's something that we've tested out. We've tested it with 50 to 75 brokers right now, and I think we've had 2 deals come from it so far. So it's just trying to leverage technology and the tools and resources that are available. Obviously, like, we're more B2B than B2C, like trying to find, obviously, people who sell their houses or looking to list their property is a little bit different. So that's something that we've just started implementing, as opposed to me Googling mortgage brokerages, getting on the phone with them, explaining my product, trying to get a hold of the broker of record, getting buy-in and alignment that they see value in our product. And we set up a presentation with their team. Typically you get like 5% of the team actually attend the meeting to explain the product. So this way it helps us scale a lot more efficiently. And they're just able to use data a lot more effectively. Like, you can see the people that open the email, how many times they open the email, if they've replied, if they click the links within that email. So we're trying to leverage data and automation in a way that help us make better informed decisions on how to prospect, just because brokers represent pretty much most of our business. But then podcasts as well too. Typically 5 to 6% of our business is from us going on podcasts, primarily.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in Ontario. And then wholesalers like Cashin and have been absolutely phenomenal as well too. So they typically have the deal, we have the capital, and then our shared client are real estate investors. So it's just tying in other industry professionals with helping each other leverage each other's expertise and solving the puzzle of the capital, the deal, the real estate investor, the tradespeople, putting it all together.
Yeah, I follow, of course, and real estate investors, and I met Daniel here in person when he came into town. You were here, I think, as well, here at this office. So I've been following him closely since, and he gave a lot of great tips. We were literally just starting and did like 2 or 3 episodes when I met him, and his podcast is doing really well. I'm always quick to share his content. He always has really informative content. And it's nation driven. It's not just, focused as here we're doing a YYC real estate show. Yeah. But of course we'd like to talk about what's happening in the nation. So touching on that, we never answered, and at the beginning we do like to go into rates. So my most recent buyers were able to get the best I've seen in the last week was 4.99 on a 5-year fixed. So a client was able to get that. There was a cool one going around, a 6-month fixed for 4.5. But then after 6 months you see what the market's doing and have to lock into a new one. Not everyone's eligible for all of these things all the time. It's a case by case, as you know. A client by client situation. But what are the rates right now? We can check if you don't know, but I'd like to ask a professional.
Yeah, so we're really unique. So there's 3 different types of lenders in Canada. So you have your A lenders, which are your big banks, Scotia, CIBC, obviously the big banks. Then you have your B, and that's going to be your cheapest capital, but the hardest to qualify. Then you have your B lenders, which is Equitable, ATB, Canadian Western Bank. It's going to be a little bit easier to qualify from the A's, but a little bit higher.
Higher rate,
And then there's C lenders, which are private lenders, alternative lenders. So that's what Calvert is. And they're the easiest to qualify, but the highest rates. Each private lender or alternative lender has their focus of lending, and they assess risk based off of their focus of lending and attribute an interest rate depending on the risk profile in terms of loan to value, the location, what the exit strategy looks like. So we have a credit facility from some of the big banks. So we borrow their capital, lend out their capital at prime plus 0.5. And then we also have people who invest in our fund, and then we pay them a return on an annual basis. So our capital, like cheapest, you're looking at around, obviously this is subject to change at any time, but looking at around 11.5% with 25% down, including lender fees.
Yeah.
And then also on the high end, we have a really unique product where you only need $10,000 down to buy a property if you're flipping in Calgary, and that's 18.25. 18.24.
Well,
fully open. Keep in mind, it's meant to be extremely short term. Like,
of course.
So there's a time benefit, cost benefit.
So there's no obviously yours are obviously short term, so they're open ended.
Yeah, so you can pay it out literally,
Anytime.
Next week, next day.
Because you helped one of my clients actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we thought we had 2 deals fall apart, and the client was really upset, and I had specifically asked Brennan, like obviously I know some A and B, but I've never had to help someone who's in a situation where you need a C and maybe a D, the loan shark, the mafia guys. But no, so big shout out to you guys over at Calgary. You were able to help my client sell his home, knowing you have a firm sale, be able to move into his next home, and then cover him for the kind of transition period. So bridge loan, bridge financing. So it was Calvert that helped him out and was able to get him a dream home and sell his property.
Nice.
Perfect.
So it was great.
Perfect.
So.
And I'm actually, I flip properties myself.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm curious, if I wanted to get a loan through you guys, is it a property by property basis, or like do you build a relationship with investors where you can trust them, or like how does it work if I want to get started with you guys?
Yeah, for sure. So we underwrite or like assess risk off two categories. So it's number one, the individual or the corporation.
Okay.
So what we're looking for there is pretty much, would we lend to this person or this corporation? And specifically what we're going to be taking a look at is credit. So have a beacon score of above 580. Ensuring that you don't owe taxes, just because there can be some obligation if you do owe taxes. You need to go through a worst case scenario foreclosure. Right. Canadian government always gets paid out first. And then ensuring that you do have actually capital in order to flip the property. Once we've kind of vet that, then the second part is the deal. The main thing that we're taking a look at is that your deal is profitable. So if you have a profitable deal, you're going to be making money. That's our number one criteria of what we're taking a look at. Outside of that, it's definitely property type. Like, so we really focus on single family detached homes on the lower end to mid-market price point, because typically from the company's experience in lending, those are the least susceptible to larger price decreases. Like we have a lot of people, not a lot, but a few who flip high-end luxury houses. And in Ontario, if you're flipping like a 1.5 million, 1.7 million house, and the market decreases 5, 10, 15%, the price decreases are obviously significantly higher as opposed to your mid price point to lower end price point range. And then obviously the lower end homes, typically they move the quickest. There's the most demand for them. There's the most data. So whenever we value a property, we're going to take a look at obviously the comparables, and typically a lot more comparables in terms of what's sold and what's active for the lower end to mid-market price point. So if you have a profitable deal, single family detached home, we do some condos and townhouses, but detached homes is definitely the focus. You have the capital for the down payment, renos, carrying costs.
Okay, so you guys won't finance the renos, for example?
No. Only caveat to that is if you have another property that you own with equity,
then you can...
We could, put a second mortgage on that, pull out equity from there temporarily, and either put that towards the down payment or advance you funds for renovations, closing costs, whatever the case may be. So, like even using a quick example, this is just really easy numbers. Say if you had a property, your primary residence worth $1 million, we can go up to 75% loan to value on that. So 75% of that, $750,000. Say if you had a mortgage with TD for $250,000, for $500,000, then in that example, there'd be $250,000 in equity, because you're just doing $750,000. Subtract 500, and that's the equity left over that we're able to leverage. Say if you're going to buy a property worth $1 million, for easy numbers, you could use that $250,000 as a 25% down payment on the other property, getting in with 100% loan to value on the subject property. So we would advance the full $1 million on the property that you're flipping, because you have so much equity in this property. The down payment's coming from that property to the subject
yeah.
property. So you would get in with no money out of your own pocket. We'd advance $1 million on closing. We'd be in first position on the subject property that you're flipping, and in second position on the property that we're using as collateral. Once the renovation's done, you sell it, then we discharge from both properties. And it's a really common strategy that some real estate investors use within our network, that they own a property free and clear. They don't want to have to deal with the paperwork or the headache or the hassle of the big banks, even though it'd be cheaper. Like, they literally send us purchase agreement, renovation summary, and we can give them funds literally next day in Alberta. So kind of a long-winded answer, but I find examples really help as opposed to just spitting out
kind of
metaphorically, like this is what we do.
It kind of demonstrates the tools you have.
Exactly, using an example. So yeah, sky's the limit for if you do have a property with equity and you just want to tap into that, especially in Calgary. Like, one of my properties I bought for $350 2 years ago. I'm getting it appraised right now, but it should be worth like $550, and didn't do any renovations to it.
Wow.
So just
waiting 2 years, just bought at the perfect time.
Yeah, 3 years. It would have been 3 years in Capitol Hill.
Great area too.
Yeah, like
is it a big lot? Is it
half
two lot?
duplex? Yeah.
Nice. So it's half duplex.
Just one side. So,
Yeah.
So sky's essentially kind of the limit. Like, we have some people flipping in Calgary. We have one guy flipping 20 properties right now at once.
Well, financing them all, right?
Pardon?
Financing them all.
Yeah.
Wow.
So definitely, once there's a relationship, a track record, they have
I know where that is. I'm not gonna say his name.
Yeah. So we have some people who, obviously flipping multiples.
Yeah.
They have a whole, contracting tradespeople under them. But on the flip side of that, in Ontario, with how the market decreased, like, it has wiped out quite a few real estate investors who bought too many properties at once. They thought they could sell it, in 5 months. 5 months turns into 7. They went 30% over their budget for renovations. Market decreased 10-15%. So it's bitten a lot of people. So everyone always shares the rosy story of bought for this, sold for this, but highlighting some of the people who are on the other end of that. Like, it's awesome to grow quickly, but definitely managing risk and keeping yourself in the game for as long as possible, as opposed to trying to grow too quickly, is something that I've really learned. Like, just working at Calvert, I literally had a call with this was a realtor in Ontario. He bought 4 pre-cons in Toronto. He was in it for like $600,000 in deposits. They were all $1.5-2 million condos. He was closing on most of them in 2-3 months. They decreased 15% in value. He was just banking off speculation that the market was going to continually go up, and he's looking at walking away of all his deposits because he can't afford them. The market decreased. He was planning on just getting possession, listing on the MLS, and hopefully making a pretty penny. But always planning for a worst case scenario. It's crazy.
You have to. I mean, Calgary's been fantastic, and I'd like to think that Calgary's going to keep on growing with the amount of migration that we have here. But you always got to plan for that, right? Anything could happen. I mean, if the whole economy of Canada goes down as a whole, so is the real estate market for Calgary too. Like, it's there's things that could happen, right?
For sure.
Yeah. So definitely got to plan for that worst case scenario. Do you guys ever give advice for flippers about how much they should be looking to make on a project? 10%?
Really good question. So, like, our minimum profit threshold is $20,000. Obviously, on average, we see a lot more than that, like normally 50 to 75-ish. It really depends on the scope of the work. Like, some people, it's a common term called wholesale. Like, if you get one, below market value, you're just literally clean. If it's a dilapidated hoarder house, you're just taking out the junk, putting some lipstick and rouge on it, and then selling it within like a month. So obviously the profit on that is going to be less, but your time into the deal, it is only like a month or two. Whenever we underwrite, we take a look at obviously the purchase price, down payment, renos, carrying costs, operating costs, and what they think they can sell the property for. We have a whole formula and a tool that obviously happy to share with everyone. And we assess on a worst case scenario, ensuring that they have capital set aside for, if they go 20-25% over renovations, assuming that obviously the market isn't going to increase. If they think it'll take 6 months, especially if they were a newer flipper, okay, let's budget for maybe 8. And as long as the numbers make sense on an absolute worst case scenario, they're not stretching themselves too thin. Like they're not pulling out all of the money that they have. For just the capital to invest in the project. Our company has literally seen like anything you could probably think of. The company's probably seen in terms of projects going well, projects going bad. So we share those insights, those learnings from the underwriters on the team. And then we also value the properties as if, like today's value and then as if complete, renovated value. We have 4 analysts currently on the team. They're typically within like 2-ish to 3-ish% of what the property actually sells for.
Oh wow!
Mind you, it's tough. Like with the market skyrocketing, Ontario went straight up, it went straight down.
Yeah.
So any insights that our analysts see in terms of the HPI significantly decreasing in a specific community or a specific property type, or if there's any marketability concerns, like it backs onto a train track or backs onto a highway, stuff along those lines, we share that with all of our clients in order to help them. It's just essentially make better financial decisions, even though we would make money lending on the deal. If it doesn't make sense for the client, we don't want to do one deal and kind of be over and leave a sour taste in the client's mouth, like if a deal goes bad. So we advise clients all the time, if the numbers look too thin, like, hey, walk away from this. Mm-hmm. There's been some scenarios in Ontario where they just buy unconditionally and they had a massive deposit. But if the profitability isn't there, we still don't lend on it.
Oh, okay.
There's some caveats if they have a high enough down payment and stuff like that, but we highly advise clients.
We do not suggest.
Do not buy this. But then obviously it's tough, right? Like when it's a super competitive market, find the right property and like you kind of fudging the numbers a little bit to, okay, I think I could definitely sell for this. I think I could be in and out in 5 months, but like, and that's going full steam ahead with working weekends and literally 24/7. So it's just being realistic and budgeting in a buffer for stuff that comes up. Like people get sick, stuff goes over time, over budget. So
All right. Yeah. Thank you. That was great. Yeah. Really appreciate the in-depth answers and stuff. And it's a lot of value. Mm-hmm. Learned a lot for sure about what you do and everything. I was really excited to ask a lot of questions. We met a few times, but I haven't really, I had questions, but I was like, I'll save it for when we're on here, right? About Calvert and what you do. For sure. Stuff. So I really appreciate that. How can everyone reach out to you and follow you on social media? For
sure. So email, like if you have a deal, probably email is typically best. So it's just Ryan, RYAN, @chmic.ca. Company's Instagram is just Calvert Home Mortgage _. Personal one's just Ryan Day. We do like free consultation. We don't charge for anything as well too. So we try and provide a lot of education. Yeah. If your clients are just looking for a property, everything's completely for free with us. So say if you have a client, they want to flip a property in whatever, Capitol Hill, for example, as long as you submit us the documents, we don't need an appraisal. So we can underwrite your plan to flip the property completely for free. You have no money in this because we don't need an appraisal or anything like that. We don't charge to pre-approve you. And then if we value the property, it doesn't make sense, then you just walk away from it. Yeah. So even if you don't put in an offer, we can do all of this work, underwrites to ensure that, it looks like a decent deal.
Yeah. How quickly can you guys pull that out?
Typically in 24 business hours.
Okay. Well, that's quick.
Yeah. So we do all that. So I'll say 24 to 48 because we've just been so slammed lately with obviously how hot the market is and stuff like that. So 24 to 48 hours and it's all for free. And I find that gives a lot of confidence with having a second set of eyes, underwriting and assess your deal from a company. Like on average, we look at around 100 deals a week. We only approve 20%.
Do you guys come and tell them, hey, this is how much we think you're going to make off this as well?
We provide the whole financial analysis, taking into consideration our fees, their interest payment, closing costs, realtor fees, their operating costs for property tax, insurance, utilities, all that stuff, their renovation costs. Everything's calculated in that spreadsheet except for taxes, just because that's personal. Like if you're doing it in a corp, personal income would obviously have a factor on that. So it really changes from client to client. But it's net of everything, excluding taxes.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Really educational. It's been great. No, yeah. Thanks so much for coming on, and yeah, we'll definitely link your social media. What about social media? You never said something about.
Yeah, I said
Instagram.
Ryan Day.
Right.
Yeah, Ryan Day on Instagram, Calvert Home Mortgage _ on Instagram.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to send the tools that I mentioned
Yeah, please.
in
Yeah,
the
that'd be great.
podcast here. Fire it off to you guys. And yeah, if anyone has any questions, something doesn't make sense, don't feel stupid or anything. Like in order to reach out, I explain what a mortgage is probably once a day to people who are just very green in the eyes. Like, so on closing day, where does the money go to? Like I pay, who do I pay? It's like, okay, it goes to the lawyer and one tight. So more than happy to help people who are interested to get into the market.
All right. Well, hopefully we can have a part 2. I'd really like to maybe make a figurative deal and break it down.
Yeah, no, that'd be awesome.
Alive,
more than happy we could have a calculator up there. Run a mock deal by you guys, and more than happy.
We'll do that next time for sure.
Perfect.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks again.
Yeah.
And see you all next week.
Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.